foul ball down the third baseline like that? And what was the kind of conversation you had with the umpire there in the seventh that led to your ejection?
Yeah, no, I never have. And so I went to ask kind of what the deal is. And I'd be lying to you if I said I knew exactly what the result of that is. I mean, it would have taken an awkward bounce for the thing to be fair, obviously. And, but I'd never seen it. So we didn't get an explanation for, what the rule is or how it should be handled. And so that's what I went up there to do. And, we never really got past anything other than, I don't know what was going on behind me, but that was the main topic. So I was going to talk with the umpire one-on-one. Everybody like it or not, I'm the representative of this team. So whatever the team's doing behind me is secondary to what I'm doing because, again, love it or hate it, I'm the representative of the team. So as I stand here tonight, our team lost 5-0. So I'm the one that needs to answer for that. I'm the one that needs to lead some adjustments so that we perform better next time. And, I'm also the one that would literally get on my knees and thank every fan that came tonight to make the environment as electric as it was. I mean, literally you could feel it in your veins, and also maybe apologize that they didn't see more, but that's kind of how it is. It's like reaching into your favorite cereal. Maybe you don't quite know what toy you're going to get if you're still a kid at heart, but went to discuss a few things, and for whatever reason, it got real personal in a hurry. And it was a lot less about the things going on in the game than it was, like I said, more personal.
Tony, Kumar was obviously dealing on the mound. Just what did you see from him? And then kind of when you did have that conversation with the umpire, was there any part of you that maybe wanted to get ejected so that you could maybe spark the team, spark the offense?
Yeah, Kumar was throwing, in outstanding fashion. It's interesting. I think our guys did a really good job against him in Nashville a couple years ago, and it was immediately the week after he made a couple of adjustments, and it was no looking back. Everyone in the country's had struggles against him since then, and but there have been teams that have beat him. I mean, last week went well for Georgia against him. The guy we watched on video was not the guy that was here tonight. He did really well. Our guys maybe could have done something to make him more uncomfortable, but he's a guy with big time stuff and he's a competitor. And I guess he sees the moment more than others at this point. And then as I stand here, I don't know if I can swear or whatever, but on everything that I know and have lived for and will live for, I had zero interest in getting thrown out of the game. I don't quite know what the phrase was that caused that to happen. My back was turned. And when I asked for what I said, I think I heard a suggestion of something that was not what I said. But no, there was none of that. I mean, our team didn't need a spark. Our guys were into the game the whole night. And when they weren't, the fans caught their attention and had them in it. So I don't want to stand here and say I was proud of what our guys did tonight because I'm not. But they were completely focused. I never saw any, moment too big or building this thing up or too much adrenaline or anything like that. We were facing a big league pitcher and we needed to do better in a couple situations against them. And we needed to keep the ball in front on defense. And the first 7 innings might have been a little bit more entertaining for those outstanding fans. And then obviously we didn't finish as strong as we needed to, but hopefully we forget about those last 2 innings before the start of the game tomorrow.
We'll go to Ryan and then Wes and then Troy.
You touched on it a bit there, but obviously entering the game, there's very little room for mistake against Rucker. Just how frustrating is it to have some of those uncharacteristic defensive mistakes, especially early in the game?
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but at the same time, if you see a guy caught not in the right position or kind of not in grind mode on defense, I mean, it is the one part of baseball you can afford to kind of kick up the intensity a little bit. Then I think you're more upset or more frustrated. Otherwise, it's something that, you want to make an adjustment. You want to have high standards, but you do have to move on from mistakes because they will happen in this game with all the repetitions that you do. And, hey, got a guy that's, looks like he could play for Coach Barnes playing shortstop. He's really, really good at it. But there's been a couple of occasions where he need to get a little lower on a baseball, but Thomas, if it was him, I believe, scorched that ball pretty good tonight too. So it takes 2 to tango.
Yeah, Tony, I was going to ask about Rucker also. It seemed like early on, as good as he was and he got settled in, he made a few mistakes right over the heart of the plate early on, especially with some guys on base. And is there part of you that's in the game thinking it's a 9 inning game, but when a guy like that's going to make mistakes, you gotta make him pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, the old thing is, for guys that are electric like that, if you're going to get them, you better get them early. Um, each inning has equal value to it to me. And one thing you do want to do against a guy like him, or last week it was Alleman. We didn't do much against them at all, but we wore them down, and they had to go to the bullpen probably earlier than they wanted to. We didn't quite achieve that feat with Rocker, but the pitches he's throwing, regardless of location. You know, are pretty firm, and there's a reason guys miss them. I just wish our guys would have missed in the right spot. We kind of missed underneath the baseball in some of those situations you're referring to. But that's awfully easy to talk about, standing somewhere other than the batter's box. So there's no question our guys can do better in those situations. But at the same time, again, the guy's got a bright, long future for quite some time for a reason.
Tony, we've talked a lot about the inner confidence of this team this year. I guess how important is that to shine through tomorrow, given that you go from one big league prospect to another on the mound tomorrow on Jack Leiter?
It is. I think, the cause and effect thing of tonight needs to repeat itself from Alabama. We hadn't lost on a Friday, I don't think, going into Alabama. And you could tell our guys kind of got stunned in the middle of that game, almost like if you were a boxer and you get caught with a punch you're not expecting. But then they bounced back on Saturday. It was like a whole new day. And the one good thing about baseball is you don't have to wait a week like these football guys do, or even multiple days like a basketball player. You wake up tomorrow, and if you choose wisely, tomorrow can be opening day. We know it's not literally, but in your mind, it can be opening day, and you have a fresh start. And, the opportunities are endless when you have a fresh start. Now, tomorrow, the opportunities are very specific. You've got a chance to do something that, to be honest with you, is phenomenal. I don't think we're giving a guy too much credit. The bottom line is he hasn't been beat yet this year. And this program, or I should say this team in particular, has done a lot of things for the first time this year, or have caused things like this crowd for the first time. So tomorrow is an opportunity to do another one of those things. But the bottom line is they can't be deflated, and they need to show up tomorrow to play baseball. Again, that was what went on in Tuscaloosa. So I don't see a reason for that to change this weekend home in Knoxville.
We'll take a few more. We'll go to Joseph and then back to Mike.
You guys seem to put the bat on the ball more than many teams have against Rucker. There are a lot of fly balls to deep outfield. Is that something positive you guys can take away from this game throughout, how quiet the bats seem to be?
You would like to, but I don't think that's really in this group's DNA. If anything, maybe there was a little extra try hard in there at the plate. I don't think it was the circumstances of the game, an SEC divisional opponent. It was more, this guy's good, so maybe I got to be better than I usually am. And that's not the case. That approach will kind of swallow you up. So I don't think anyone's really too satisfied how it went. I get where you're coming from, but close doesn't really get you anything. It's up in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Tony, the bullpen kind of rotation you guys went with tonight with Mabry, Housley getting in there, Redmond, Elijah. What did you think of the way that some of those guys threw, and what went into the plan to have guys like Mabry and Housley be the first guys out?
Yeah, I think the plan for us now that Mabry is back to 100% and has some repetitions under his feet is for him to be able to come in and face some lefties in our league. With guys like McLaughlin and Hunley and two right-handed starters, there's a role for a guy like that, and he's got good stuff. So we're always searching for ways that guys can help us and be a valuable piece of the puzzle, and that's his answer. I think kind of breathing life back into what EP can do it for us. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Made sense. We cut him off the other day when he was throwing to a couple hitters in practice because we wanted him to be ready for tonight. Even said that to him directly. Housley's got really good stuff, and I thought it might be a good bounce back outing for him after it didn't go well Tuesday. Bad results Tuesday, but his approach was very good on Tuesday. bad internet connection, stops me from saying too much about that. But, Redmond Walsh is a guy we're going to trust until the day I'm dead. I mean, I trust that guy as much as anybody in any sort of situation. And so whether it's up big, down big, close game, conference, non-conference, it's good to see him get out there and do his thing. Because I think he's been victim of kind of what some of our hitters have done, try and do his thing, but the Superman version of it. And we don't need that.
Trey, last question to you.
Hey, Tony, yeah, I know you touched on it briefly earlier, but can you talk about what the environment was like for you guys tonight? It had that big fight feel to it, and what your expectations are looking forward to the rest of the series with the environment too.
Yeah, it might even get more exciting. They drew first blood. Everyone wants to talk about their pitcher tomorrow. And then Sunday is always a great family day at the park. People are hungry for tickets. So maybe there's some people in the park tomorrow or Sunday that weren't able to get in tonight with the limited seating. But I think it fires up the guys that the school is willing to have their back and press the issue with getting as many fans as possible into the stadium. And the ones that were here tonight made it different. I mean, the past couple weekends we've played at home have been pretty good. We've had a couple Tuesdays that have been pretty good. But I haven't had kind of the shaking that I did before the game, feeling that you had going through your body all the way to your toes because of just how into it they were and how many people there were and just a different vibe. So hopefully it's something that sticks around. Again, our guys, trust me, are appreciative. Had to cut some of them off saying, let's do it for the fans and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's not the equation that works. I mean, we want to go about our business in a way that the people are proud that we're Tennessee Vols, and we want to make sure that that's the case. We do things to make them proud, but it's not perform on command, unfortunately. Although I would take it tomorrow, to be honest with you.
Thanks, Coach.